Hey guys, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a good day. This is not a normal video, and I realize it's going to be a little bit convoluted, and I'm probably not going to be able to answer every question that people have, but there's been a lot that's been going on in the community related to me, and it just feels like it would be completely ridiculous for me to ignore this, but I also need to respect the fact that we are now in a position where there are multiple agencies, including lawyers and police and the FBI, investigating. And so I obviously can't share everything, but I did want to just tell people my side of the story, or really just what I've learned. So everyone knows that I went through a lawsuit, and it was actually it's now settled, thank goodness. And there was a lot of misinformation that was going around at that time. There was a lot of just really wild accusations, and there was just a lot of people that were trying to insert themselves into the suit, which created a lot of chaos and it created a lot of undue stress for me. I was always confident that the lawsuit would settle, or we would be able to, come to a resolution. I never believed that it would go all the way. And thankfully we did settle. And honestly, I have been so happy about that. I think everyone involved was so glad to be able to put this aside. There truly is, when I say this, absolutely no hard feelings between me and the other parties. And it's been healing for me to have that part and that chapter closed. But there's this lingering aspect that has been stuck, and it has really tarnished my reputation, and it's made me feel like I don't have a voice on this platform, and it's made me feel like no matter what I say or do, people say that I'm an evil, terrible person. And it's hard because for months people have been making really big accusations against me, and no matter what I say and do, it's like I've been gaslit. Like, people don't believe that actually this happened. So to help you understand what happened, and I don't want to have to bring all the receipts. I think there's enough videos out there that you might be able to find something on YouTube. But there was a woman named Natalie that basically inserted herself into the lawsuit, and she alleged that I was hacking her and sending threats and doing all of these different things. And she also was alleging that we had this like years-long relationship, and we were she was claiming things about my marriage that just were like not true, like that my husband was not a good dad and that he was doing things to my son. And we had CPS at our house multiple times. So the first time CPS came to our house, it was in, I think, the fall, and it was after a channel named Tspiracy put out a video. In the video, she had amplified the sound of a live stream I had done on Instagram. And during my live stream, my son was upstairs and I was downstairs, and he was sleeping. He was trying to go to sleep. And my husband had had a really long day. He had been upstairs in our bedroom for hours with our dog, because I was really stressed out that day during the lawsuit. I had a lot of really tough, like stressed out days where I felt like I was going to lose it, and he was just trying to keep the dog away from me so that I could work. And after being with the dog all day, trying to keep her happy, and then having my son struggling to go to bed, my son, who happens to have autism, had a little bit of a meltdown, and he told his daddy to get away from him, and he's a kid, right? So they amplified it to make it sound like he said that like he punched my son, which didn't happen. I will just say that my son, a lot of times when he's upset, just says, "Don't touch me." And I think he gets that from me, to be honest. I hate to be touched when I'm angry. And he does not like to be touched when he's angry. And we have never, ever, ever used anything with our hands. No belts, no objects, nothing. He has never been spanked, nothing. So it was very jarring to me that a simple moment of my son having a little bit of a meltdown would turn into this video, which proceeded to get people very riled up about my husband. And shortly thereafter, we started getting calls to CPS. So CPS showed up at our house in the fall after this video went out, and they referenced why they were there. They said that they had seen a video on YouTube that had sounds that made it sound like my husband was doing something to my son, which we now know is the video that T-Spiracy put on her channel, which she still will not to this day remove. They came, they interviewed us, they interviewed my son's nurses, and everything turned out to be false. They said it was unfounded. They said there was no evidence of anything, and they basically just closed it. We told them that I was a public figure, and they noted that, and they said, you know, as long as you're doing what you're doing, don't worry about it. Well, everything will be fine. So then I had a really tough time, and there was one night where I said I was feeling like I might end my life, and that night someone did show up and the cops did come, but the cops came besides that. So I'm not going to fault someone for contacting the police if they feel like I'm not safe. But there was cops that showed up here again a couple months ago, and it was snowing, and it was two deputies, and they said, we received a 7-page report from Hennepin County. I don't live in Hennepin County, so whoever contacted, they went to the wrong county. The city I live in is in between 2 counties. And so they said, Hennepin County received this, it was sent to us, and we just have to follow up. And this report included that you and your husband are doing things to your son. They accused me of having Munchausen's by proxy. And they said that my husband had, again, using the same video, claiming that my husband had punched my son. Obviously, having spoken to them, I again explained to them what was going on. They knew at this time that I was a public figure. And so they said, okay, yeah, we figured as much. We had to come out. We'll just close this out. They said CPS might have to come out. We're not sure, but if we can just tell them that everything's fine. They looked at my son. Nothing was amiss. It was over. Okay. I'm not going to share like the reports simply because, like, one, I don't want to put that information out there for my son, and I don't want to put that information out there for my husband, but it did happen. And anyways, so after that happened, the lawsuit settled. So things calmed down a lot, like a lot of the information just sort of calmed down. But at the height of everything, when this Natalie person entered, suddenly we started receiving all of these threats. So on a daily basis, I was receiving anywhere from 20 to 30 horrific threats. So the threats were coming from what has seemed to be a spoofing email. So I learned a lot in this process. So basically what was happening was they were using a website that allows people to fake emails. And so I learned how to actually run headers of emails, which I had never learned how to do before this. And I was able to track that they were using a VPN, meaning they were trying to cover their IP address. So it was really difficult, and they were always using like one in another country. And the spoofing email that they were using was an account that was based in the Czech Republic. And when you Google it, it basically says mail faker. They were using these mail fakers, and whoever was sending them knew everything about what was going on in my life. They were watching every video. They were talking about everything that was happening to me publicly. They were making accusations. They were trying to extort me. They were threatening my son's life. They were threatening my life. They were threatening my husband's life. They were attempting to say if I didn't do things, they would release information. And when I wouldn't respond, then they would put out these screenshots on Twitter that were obviously doctored, obviously false. And I just sat there and tried not to respond to it because I felt like not responding to it would make these people go away. And it just didn't stop. And as the lawsuit was going on, people started covering this and really taking these claims, because then the girl ended up filing a declaration, which I can't say for sure, like yay or nay, like she might have believed this happened, but the woman that filed this also has very severe mental health issues. She just has impairments that make her more vulnerable. And so it became apparent that maybe someone was manipulating her to believe that these things were going on. But this person was adamant that she had a relationship with me, even though she didn't. I didn't know her. I didn't have any conversations with her. I don't talk with people really off of like DMs, and I certainly really don't talk to my subscribers just because I've been stalked for such a long time. In the middle of all of that, there was a Facebook group that was run by someone named Tina, who like has been doing this to me for over 2 years. There was a Reddit called like it's an anti without a crystal ball, but it looks like without a crystal ball, so I think it sometimes confuses people. And then there was these parody accounts that were popping up on Twitter that were apparently spreading, you know, the truth about me. And what they were doing was effectively moving from creator to creator and gaslighting them about me, lying about me, and making them believe I was doing things that I wasn't doing. And so they were accusing me of doxing, of stalking, of harassing people, of sending threats, like basically everything that was happening to me in my messages, with CPS at my house, with police coming here, like literally being doxed, they were accusing me of doing to other people. And I just wasn't doing that. I was trying to just stay focused, stay on course. And, you know, a lot of videos were made about me. People say like, you don't get a redemption arc, or you're just a piece of shit person. I've heard that so much. Like, you are such a piece of shit. You are such a terrible person. Everyone in this community hates you. And it's hard because people don't like me, that's fine, but it's when they're not learning, when they're like thinking things that I'm doing as factual, and they think that this is what I'm doing and I know I'm not doing it, and no matter what I say, no one believes me. It put me in a situation where even when I would try to share my story, I couldn't because no one believed me. Probably the creator that was the harshest on me was Creepshow Art. And she was working with a lot of these people. So basically, there was a Facebook group, there was a Reddit, and then there was these parody accounts all working together in conjunction. And then there was these hate channels that were popping up on YouTube, all filtering and putting out the same kind of content, blasting everything that I did and said, and making it seem like I was this terrible person. So Creepshow Art, whose channel was very large at the time, she got upset with me because I called her out about something, and I can't even remember why. To be honest, I never liked Shannon. I thought she was very fake. Someone had told me to reach out to her. That's how I found out about her. And so I sent her an email to see if she might be able to help me with the situation, kind of what I'm talking about right now. And she never responded, so I kind of just let it go. And I never really like watched her channel, but I, you know, because she's quite a bit younger than me, and the kind of content she covers just isn't what I've ever really been interested in. So I wasn't like, I would say, a huge fan. I would like shout her out sometimes because I just felt like, you know, as a YouTube creator, you should shout people out. You should try to support other creators, that kind of thing. But she put out this video about me where she basically accused me of like calling this little girl a brat, saying that I took out a restraining order for no reason, saying that I didn't have sources. She had a lot, there was a lot in that video that just wasn't accurate, and it was painted in a way that just was so grossly misrepresented to what happened that it was so wild, because within that time frame, once she put that video out, suddenly all of these other people copied it. And so it was like all these other people like Repzilla and T Mimi and The Viewer's Voice, Dustin, everyone starts this own narrative of like, I'm a stalker, I'm a doxer, I'm this or that. And I don't want to feel like, I don't want to put this out on the channels that mimicked her, because I feel like the ownership should go to Shannon, because Shannon's the one that used these troll groups, and then the other people just sort of like emulated what she said. And then we're also following court records, assuming what court records were honest, but they weren't. So this whole narrative that I was the doxer, the stalker, the harasser, and that I was sending threats is all false. And it's false because I know it's false, but it's also false because I received an email on Saturday from the person that was claiming I was doing all of these things, basically admitting that it never happened. Now, I'll share the email only because I've put it out publicly on my Instagram, but I'm not going to share everything that I have. I'm also going to share some other things that we've learned along the way. There's so many players in here, and I don't want to like publicly name people because at this point we still don't know like how many people are involved. But right now we do know it's a group of people. We know that it encompassed people that were in groups on Facebook, on Reddit, on Twitter, And we'd also know that some of these players that are involved in this are now coming forward to help us, which I want to thank these people so much. I'm angry, I'm hurt, I'm having a very hard time controlling that, because my child has been at the center of this, and humongous false allegations have been made against my husband, which is horrific to me because he's such a good father, you guys. He is like the best husband, and like to see people disparage him and, you know, say he's a white supremacist, or he's this or he's that, or he's hurting my son, or he's hurting me. It's just so far-fetched. It's not true, and it's never been true about him. So there's this whole world called the anti-KJ community, and that's what kind of bred and fostered all of this, which was started in 2019 with the main group being this Facebook group, which was run by a woman named Tina. So her name has come up in this. I don't know how involved she is in this, but she's not the main player. Today I'm just going to talk about a couple people. So Natalie is the one that a lot of you have heard about, Natalie Kennett. She's the one that claimed we were friends. She was the one that said that my husband had done all of these things. She was the one that had said that she filed a police report or a CPS report. So how it all happened was about a week ago, before she even confessed to this, a week before that, I guess, let me back up. A week before she confessed to me what happened, I got a message from someone that had been in that community. Her name was Sassy. And she said, listen, I've been so going gung-ho against you, and I had no idea. I thought that everything that people said about you was true. And then I just got a message today from Natalie, and she's asking for videos of your son, and she wants raw footage, and she says that she's reported you to the police. And I think you need to know this. And I said, oh my God, okay. So that part, I put it out publicly. So I received a message from Sassy, and then basically I sort of like cropped it out because I wanted to protect like the person that had done it. And what they had said to Sassy was this, and this is Nat speaking, okay? I know Katie and Todd personally. I've been speaking to Katie since the end of 2018. I have evidence to prove this. She's been in group chats with my friends and on video with us too. I know a lot about her and things that have happened behind the scenes, and that's why I'm helping the police with their investigation. She said, but I stand by my actions because I'm deeply concerned about, and have been for a long time. Katie promised me that she was reporting Todd and did a complete U-turn. I've written and recorded evidence of my own, but the police have asked if they have unedited raw footage of videos they themselves have watched online. A case takes time to investigate and needs a lot of evidence. That's why I've reached out to people. I do not and will not give up names of people who've given me information or videos they've captured. I take full responsibility of my actions are done in good faith. So she was basically reaching out to Sassy, asking Sassy for videos of my son because she claimed that my husband was doing things and that I had a friendship with her and admitted this to her, which isn't true. I didn't know her. I've never met her. And that was kind of that. And I, for a long time was just trying to ignore this stuff because I literally did not know this woman. I was like, I don't know where she's coming up with this. Like, I've never met this woman. I don't know her from Adam. So once Sassy started giving us information, a couple days later, I was really feeling stressed out. And I said, Natalie Kennett, leave me alone. We are not friends. We have never been friends. I didn't video chat you. You weren't given details about my life. You are inserting yourself into life to cause drama. Leave me alone. Stop your lies. You have fabricated a whole fantasy in your mind about me. It's disturbing, it's scary, and you scare me. Since you inserted yourself into my business, my life has been flipped upside down. Someone else to harass and leave me alone. And then I shared screenshots of her basically talking to Sassy, which I'll put up for you to see. And she's talking about like having this relationship with me, and she's doing this from an account, speaking to Sassy about me. And basically they're talking about how they need to protect my son. Once everything sort of went up about it and people started giving her backlash, she then sort of canceled and cut out all of her accounts on her like Twitter and on her Instagram. And then some people in the community realized, whoa, she's like really gone too far. And they started talking and doing some deductive reasoning, I guess. And another name came out of the picture that I had never heard before, with a person by the name of Little Miss Noble, whose name is Katie. This person then went on Kay Baxter's channel and basically admitted to helping Nat with all of this stuff. And it's a very long live stream. I'll put Kay's video down in the down here if you want to watch it. She admitted to doing a lot of things to me. She admitted that Nat had done a lot of things to me. She was trying to place a lot of blame on Natalie. And it was just very eye-opening, because the things that they were accusing me of were just things that have been said about me for such a long time. I was like, how is this even physically possible? Like, how does this keep going? Because a lot of the rumors she was talking about were things that had been started in the group that's run by Tina and someone else that was a founding member of that group. Her name is Kim Fulmer, and you might know Kim Fulmer. She was someone that filed a declaration in the lawsuit that was not relevant to me. And she was claiming things about another person that, again, was not relevant to me. Kim actually used to be a former moderator of me, and she does not like me. She used to have a channel called Unveiling the Masks. She published some false screenshots of me years ago, claiming that I had said things that I did not say. And she and Tina, I believe, have still been ramping up their attacks against me. And they are still very, I believe, active in all of this. But I don't know how active they are with this specific case. So I don't want to blame them for that. But they have inserted themselves into my life to inflict as much damage as possible. Tina has doxed my house. She has shared photos of my home. And in general, I've just always wanted them to leave me alone, and they just don't. And it seems like this group now, with the help of maybe Miss Noble and Nat, have fostered an even more diabolical plan, and which includes filing at least 4 CPS reports against me, calling the cops on me, filing a fraud report, I believe, against my husband for unemployment insurance or unemployment, and also filing a fictitious review that was negative against Michael Saltz, and also falsely reporting Michael Saltz to the bar in California. So they've been reporting me constantly. I was able to verify with the police yesterday that they have been reporting me, and that there are at least 3 or 4 CPS reports that have been filed. So it's actually happening, and I just didn't know who was doing it. And all of the reports are false, just so you know. So then everything was coming up with steam, and quickly Natalie then sent me an email where she basically said that she was realizing that this was all a lie. So last Saturday, she sent this email that said, "I'm writing to you to apologize, and I'm adding Michael Saltz to this message so that you can read. Up until a few days ago, I fully believed that I had a long-term relationship with you, and that had videoed with you often, spoke often, and I fully believed that you were close, that Clark Swanson has threatened me, and that Michael Brown had done some things that I don't wish to go into. I fully believed I had conversations with you, that you had liked and commented on my posts. The screenshot I shared, I fully believed they were genuine, and I was speaking to you. My mother witnessed abuse also. She, however, did not know that you and your son's name. I told her the information. I was not until a few days ago that my mental health breakdown, that the truth became clear. The person I witnessed doing those things to her son, along with my mother, was a different person, and she too lives in the U.S. At some point, I've been triggered and living an alternate life that was not real. I felt real, and I spoke about you often because I genuinely felt like the person I had spoken to often was you. I've accepted and learned this, and I'm not mentally well. I've accepted I need more help and will be seeking this. My mother did a video a few days ago. She witnessed that, but of another person. She did not see your face. I told her it was you and told her your son's name also. That's my fault. Once my mom saw your face today, we had a long chat and a heart-to-heart, if you will, and I now know the person I was confused with. I'm so sorry. I've spent a few days unsure of how to approach this, but I've never one to shy away from owning my actions, behavior, or mistakes. Just because I am autistic and have 7 mental health disorders, it is not a free pass. I fully expect that you'll want to press charges against me, both of you. I fully expect the sheriff will too. I take full responsibility and accept the consequences of my actions. So then she denied sending the threats and everything else. So she also then copied a email that she had sent to the sheriff or to the detective here in where I live, retracting her claims. So that I posted, and she sent me 2 more emails adamant that she did not send the threats, even though there had been so many of them. Well, I started getting more information after Kay Baxter's video where this person named Katie basically admitted to helping Nat file the police report, file the CPS report, and screenshots were shared basically that outlined what the CPS report was. The allegations were so terrible. And other channel, Amanda Pants, put out all of her screenshots about this. She doesn't like me. I'm not going to link the video, but there you go. So I started receiving a bunch of DMs from people, and I just want to share a few. These are only a few that I'd like to share, and then everything else I'm just going to save because there is going to likely be prosecution here. And again, all of these are allegations, and again, I don't know who all the players are. But apparently there was somebody that was helping her, Katie, and it was a guy named Dustin. So apparently this guy Dustin was doing all the tech stuff. So he might have been the one that was doing the emails, using the spoofer, or maybe attempting to hack into us. It's clear that, at least through the conversations I've seen, that Katie was threatening Nat to do things that she wanted her to do. She says, Natalie, I'm serious. If this conversation goes to the FBI, I will make your life a living hell. She has to screenshot quick her video recording stopped. Have you scared? Yep, have her scared because she knows she fucked up. So, trying to keep Natalie into doing what she said, trying to keep Natalie submissive, trying to keep Natalie afraid. She also shared something that says, look at this. Thank you for making my job easier. I think he was planning on making Nat look like the hackers. I feel bad because me and Dottie gave Nat the go-ahead to post the screenshots. I have a strange feeling that this is definitely Salt's and that he's been the hacker. So she's spent a lot of time trying to frame Salt's or me for hacking. And she said, okay, another time she said, okay, quick question to the both of you. I'm sick, but I have the website for the fraud place. Dustin, if you can give Nat, Justin, if I give you Nat, you do the website, can you both do it? I'm also send you the screenshots of all the stuff we wrote about before, but this needs to be done soon. And then Dustin responds, what if it's again a long day again? So my mind's a bit scrambled and submitting those tag origin IP of who submits it. So they're talking about IP addresses and like where they're going to submit it from and what IP they're going to use. And then she's sharing a link to the unemployment insurance fraud for my husband. So they're basically talking about how they need to file all these reports against me. And this was on June 16th. And then she said, just spoke to Gary from tax fraud. Let's just say that they are definitely looking into KJ and Todd, and they might need me to resubmit the report, but I gave everything, so we are good if we need to. By the way, good morning, everyone. That is definitely me. Good morning, ladies. Good morning. That's like Dustin. They started talking about all the fraud reports that they were filing about me. She said, Nat, I did the fraud report and the bar report, you did the CPS report. So she reported my husband to fraud, me for tax fraud, and then she also reported Michael Saltz to the bar. And then Nat responded, I did the first one, but when it didn't go through, you did the next one while I was on the phone with you because you did 3 of them, basically saying that she had done 3 CPS reports in addition to another one. She said, I said how I didn't remember much about your ex because legit, I don't remember. She's talking about a live chat she did with Kay. And she said, Kay was asking a bunch of questions. Kay wanted to put words in my mouth. I told you, Nat, it looks bad because you sent those emails. So she's basically telling Nat that because Natalie confessed to me that she didn't have this relationship with me, that it was making them all look bad. And then people started sort of calling her out on Twitter. And she said, I'm beyond pissed at her, Nat. She was using you, thinking you were the hacker. And she said, I was going to try and prove that. Nat, you did speak to KJ. You both had a friendship. That's the truth. You also do know Caitlin. So as Natalie was sort of coming to and realizing that she had been manipulated to believe that she had this relationship with me, I guess Katie was trying to explain to her that the relationship was there. Like Natalie was saying, no, we didn't have this relationship. And Katie's basically saying, no, you did. You did have this relationship, even though we didn't. Now she's talking about Kim, and I don't know if this is Kim Fulmer or someone else. And it says, he doesn't want FBI's attention, that's for sure. So he's obviously got dirty dealings going on. Exactly, and they are involved. I found out yesterday it's going to take a month as they have to look into everything that's happened since January. I'm thinking he's getting close to Nat to make sure she says nothing because she promised me she would talk to the FBI. The alters are hurt and will remain friends, but hurt. So Natalie has dissociative disorder and I guess has like multiple alters. I don't know a whole lot about that. And she says, actually, he wants people to think that. Dustin had a look at his account. So now she's talking about how she says that Saltz is basically threatening people and that she has Dustin digging into his accounts to see whether or not he has, like, what his money situation is like. And she said, oh, yes, because I was worried sick. And she said, and then question mark, and she said, step by step to hire a hitman basically would be $50,000. So she was trying to convince Natalie that Saltz was going to hire a hitman, I guess, that if she didn't comply with Saltz, that he would hire this hitman and hurt Natalie. So not only was she saying that I will hurt you, but so will Saltz if you don't do things. Again. So she says, then there is a fee for them to watch the person specifically for months. That's another $50,000. Then the actual hit would be $100,000. So she's literally talking about hiring a hitman. They promised me that this isn't about me, but we'll see. Another one says, Nat, oh my God, I know that you sent the effing email to KJ now she's running with it. You don't even have to explain everything to me. I'm still confused as to why you told me it wasn't KJ, it was Caitlin. And she said, she told Saltz, yes, she sent me her conversation, but she said, you hacked her. I just haven't responded because I'm effed either way. I feel pushed to choose and I hate. It's just like when it was you versus Saltz. And she says, do you understand how you could stop the FBI investigating because you sent those emails? So she's basically saying that Natalie's going to stop the investigation because she sent the emails basically claiming that she didn't have this relationship with me. So Katie apparently wants the FBI to believe that I'm the hacker. And Katie talks a lot about the FBI and all of the different screenshots that I have seen. And so clearly this investigation is concerning her. So there was a lot that happened, right? And so I had asked, someone reached out to me that is friends with Natalie, and she said that she was being manipulated and that Katie was manipulating her along with Dustin. And I said, do you know if anyone named Tina might be involved? And then she said, she talked about Tina a lot, so I just want to share these 2 screenshots and then I'm done. She says, Nat, I'm trying to be strong and I feel like I'm pulling her down. I have anxiety and depression, so this feels like a blow, right? Ugh, I'm trying to get out of it, but it's hard to. Nat said that they are calling her mom a liar. I just talked to Tina. We can come back, but we need to find that video of KJ. So a lot of these people deactivated their accounts. There was a Facebook group that I think is now archived or they're not active on anymore. And people are like now deleting a lot of videos. And so she says, we talked to Tina. I think we can come back from this. And they say they're going to come back from this as long as they can find this video of me doing things, which literally doesn't exist. So Tina, again, is the one that has the Facebook group and has put out my address and in a Facebook group with a photo of my home and has been stalking me for 2 years. So when I said that I have a stalker, I do. And I believe Tina is one of them. So, and then she said also, then the group, the 2 members are gone. I don't think they're real people. And she said, then suddenly the hackers are using to their advantage. Neither does Tina. She thinks one was KJ. So again, she's talking about Tina and a group that they had where they were talking about doing all of these things to me. And she said herself, but I don't know. I think it's something to do with Saltz. I think he needed Nat's social media to try and figure out everything out. So I just want to say this. there's so much more to the story that I can't share. There is so much more I want to share, but I'm not going to say anything until the prosecution happens. I fully expect this to be all submitted to the FBI. This is only a tiny fraction of what we've received. There's a lot of DMs that are having to be combed through. A lot of people that were working on this are coming forward that were a part of this, and a lot of creators are now removing videos about me against allegations that Nat brought, and which I appreciate. I just, you know, the hardest part for me in all of this has been that I have not lied at all, and I have been so gaslit by people believing these lies that my reputation has been so tarnished. And it's like, it started with Creepshow Art making that first video, and then it like just, once she did, it was like opening up this tidal wave where so many others started talking about these things and using and giving like this group of trolls who have been harassing me for years credibility. None of these people know me. I don't have a relationship with any of them, and the information they share about me is false. I'm a human being that makes mistakes, but I don't deserve to have anyone working in a collaborative group to try to destroy me, to frame me, to file declarations in a lawsuit, to report me to police, to CPS, to making huge allegations against my husband that are not true. It's a scary, scary place to be, and it's something that happens so much on YouTube. YouTube is a cutthroat place where everyone feels like they need to have a piece of the pie, and sometimes doing that means that you discredit and you go after the creators that you think are getting the attention that you want. People always say that the Anti-WOACB group is like this one Cosmo that is bigger than every other. Well, it's like that because it was started in 2019 by a group of people led by a single person who had a vendetta against me to spread misinformation about me with the sole goal of like destroying my channel. They want me off the platform. I never did anything that was like wrong. I stood up for myself about a situation that had happened, and they said that until I retracted that, they were going to keep doing this to me. I will not retract what happened, and because it happened, and it was something that didn't make me comfortable, and that's really all I'm going to say about that. But they have sort of, in a way, fostered all of these other people, Tina, Kim, now Katie, Nat, and these other channels, believing these people. Another creator that made a lot of videos about me was Allie from Truth Sleuth, who I have asked her to stop. She defended me yesterday, but still degraded me and called me terrible names. And it's really hard right now for me to have any sort of dialogue with creators when they are saying such terrible things to me. It has made me feel defensive at times. It makes me feel like I can't trust anyone. It makes me feel like everyone hates me. I've never been disliked this much in my life. Like, I am not the kind of person that's disliked in the real world. I've always had a lot of friends until becoming a mom, and I've always been very social, and I've always had, like, you know, at work, I was always well liked. I always did a good job. I had a job in corporate for 16 years. Like, I've never had this level of hate in my life. I've never had people like spread such things about me. I've never been involved in serious crimes. I've never committed fraud. Like, I have a child that I'm working to protect. I have a child that I'm working so hard for. I'm the sole provider of my family, and the fact that they have tried repeatedly to falsely accuse my husband of crimes that are false, they have closed, and they have falsely tried to get my child removed from me is terrifying. As a community, I feel like we need to do a better job. Even if it's hard to stand up for someone and you feel you've got trolls that are coming at you, if you bend to the trolls, this is what happens. A tidal wave of false allegations are created. A tidal wave of terrible allegations that are not true takes hold, and a community believes them. And nobody speaks out, because if they are, they're threatened. I've talked to so many people in the last few days that anyone that tries to defend me is threatened. Every creator that I've tried to have a relationship with, it's ruined by these people. They've interfered with people that I've recently collaborated with, like Preacher Boy, They said that I sent him threats, that I was trying to blackmail him. It wasn't true. They interfered with my relationship when I collaborated with Sherelle. They have caused issues with me and another creator named Leslie. They have, any time basically anyone tries to work with me, these people destroy it. And I just want them to stop. They have no right to harm me through this meticulous targeted harassment. And it has ramped up to a point that no one has stood up for me. No one wants anything to do with me. And if I'm not on my channel, on my little island, all I hear is, Katie, we hate you. Have I made mistakes? Yes. Have I had to change things on how I do my channel? Yes. But that does not warrant at all what they are doing to me. I'm not perfect. People say, well, don't you get stories wrong? Yes, and I correct them. People say, well, don't you get mad and lash out? Yes. My biggest regret in all of this is the lashing out. My biggest regret is yelling at other creators. My biggest regret is getting frustrated and feeling like I've been put into a corner and I can't scream. Like, I just have wanted to be heard and no one would listen to me. My biggest regret is thinking that everyone is a troll, because I literally can't trust anyone. I actually found this quote today, and I think this would like sum up perfectly how I have been feeling the last 7 months. If you're stalked, you might fear of what the stalker will do, feel vulnerable, unsafe, and not know who to trust, feel anxious, irritable, impatient, and on edge, feel depressed, hopeless, overwhelmed, tearful, and angry, feel stressed, including having trouble concentrating, sleeping, and remembering things, having eating problems such as appetite loss, forgetting to eat, or overeating. I've been overeating. Having flashbacks, disturbing thoughts, feelings, or memories every day. Feeling confused, frustrated, or isolated because people don't understand why you're afraid. That sums up everything. The biggest is feeling isolated. Feeling like I have no friends. Feeling like every time I try to make a relationship with any creator, they say I'm a terrible person. Everyone's saying I'm weird. I'm doing all of these different things. Like, I'm not a bad person. Am I a different person? Yes. But I swear to God, I'm not a bad person. And I'm so just, all I want is to like this to stop, right? And this has been going on for months. And I need to share my truth. I want these people prosecuted. I want them to be held responsible through civil litigation. And I want the videos specifically removed. I want the videos of people using these allegations from this group to just get off this platform, because it's not true. And I just want a chance for people to actually see who I am without this noise around me of these people who are trying to destroy me. And I just wish creators could understand that I'm not terrible. I didn't deserve this. I'm just trying to protect my family. All right, you guys, this is way longer than I wanted it to be. Thank you for hearing me out. Thank you for listening to me today. And if you are someone that has been harassed by them, you're always able to tell me DMs. We are accepting any sort of messages, but of DMs or any interactions you've had with any of these people. If you're a creator that has made videos based off of these people, been influenced by these people, been threatened by these people, you can always reach out to me or Michael Saltz. I think the YouTube community as a whole needs to hold the people accountable that are doing things that are bad. And while I've been told that I need to be held accountable, which I think I have for a lot of the things that I have done, it's time that these people are held accountable, not only legally and criminally, but also the community needs to hold these people responsible. We need to be a community where we are not afraid to speak out, where we can share what happens to us, and that trolls are not allowed to win. No creator should have to go through the level of harassment that I've gone through, and I know I'm not the only one. So if my story can help anyone, just realize that sometimes because things take hold and sometimes because a story is told doesn't mean it's true. We have a responsibility to fact check. We have a responsibility to verify. Don't just make a video without knowing the truth. I've told people over and over again, my DMs are open, and it's still true today. All my DMs are open. But I'm not open. I'm not open to being told that you don't like me. So please don't come into my DMs and say you don't like me. I've had enough of that. But if you have information to share, my DMs are open. All right, you guys, Thank you so much. I'm sorry for everything. I want them held responsible. I want them held responsible, and I just hope that all of you realize that anyone can become susceptible to trolls, that trolling is so dangerous, and that it can go real life, and that when we create echo chambers in communities that basically are driven on hate, like the Anti-WOACB group, where there's no checks and balances, this is what can happen. And when there's a select few people dedicated to taking me down, which there are, and they are not called out and they are not stopped, this perpetuates. And I just want this to stop. Thanks, guys.